My name is Anna. I am 35 years old. I live with my husband Mark in a small, quiet town. We have been married for 8 years. Our life was simple, but it was good. We did not have a big house. We did not have expensive things. But we had each other. Every morning, Mark woke up before me. He made coffee and packed his bag for work. Sometimes he kissed my forehead before leaving. I worked at a local office. The job was not exciting, but it paid the bills. In the evenings, we ate dinner together. We talked about our day. We laughed about small things. On weekends, we went for walks. Sometimes we stayed at home and watched old movies. Mark always held my hand. He was a caring man. He listened when I spoke. He remembered small details about me. He always said, "We are a team." I trusted him completely. I believed our marriage was strong. I believed we would face any problem together. I believed love meant honesty and protection. At that time, I felt safe. I felt loved. I never imagined that the person I trusted most would be the reason my life was about to change. Slowly, small things began to change. At first, I did not notice them. I started waking up feeling tired. Not normal tired, deep tired. It felt like I had not slept at all. In the mornings, my body felt heavy. My arms felt weak. My legs felt slow. Sometimes I sat on the edge of the bed and waited. I waited for my strength to return, but it did not. At work, I felt the same way. I stared at the computer screen for a long time. My eyes hurt. My head felt full. I often had headaches. They came and went. Sometimes they stayed all day. I told myself it was stress. Everyone feels tired sometimes, I thought. Work was busy. Life was busy. But the tiredness did not leave. Some days, I felt dizzy when I stood up. The room moved for a second. I had to hold the table to stay steady. Mark noticed everything. "You don't look well," he said one morning. "You look exhausted." "I'm fine," I replied. "I just didn't sleep well." But he did not believe me. He watched me closely. He asked me many questions. "Are you eating enough? Are you sleeping? Does anything hurt?" I tried to smile. I tried to act normal, but inside, I was scared. This was not normal tiredness. Something was wrong, and deep down, I knew it. One evening, Mark sat beside me on the sofa. He looked at me for a long time without speaking. "You are not okay," he finally said. "I can see it." "I told you," I replied softly. "It's just stress. I will rest more." He shook his head. "No," he said. "This is not normal stress." His voice was gentle but firm. "I'm worried about you, Anna," he continued. "I love you. I can't just watch you feel worse every day." I felt tears in my eyes. "I don't want to be sick," I said. "I don't want something to be wrong." He moved closer and held my hands. "That's exactly why we need a doctor," he said, "just to be sure." The next day, he told me he had found someone. "My colleague recommended him," Mark said. "He said this doctor is the best, very experienced, very careful." I asked, "What is his name?" "Dr. Collins," he answered. He has a private clinic. People trust him. Mark even took a day off work to come with me. In the car, he held my hand. Everything will be fine, he said. We will find out what is wrong, and if something is wrong, we will fix it together. His words comforted me. I trusted him completely. I believed he was protecting me. At that moment, I felt lucky to have such a caring husband. Dr. Collins' clinic was in a quiet part of the city. The building was modern and clean. Large glass windows reflected the sunlight. Inside, everything looked expensive. The floors shined. The chairs were soft and new. There was soft music playing in the background. It did not feel like a normal doctor's office. It felt more like a hotel. Dr. Collins came out to greet us. He was tall and well-dressed. His face was serious, but calm. He spoke slowly and confidently. "Please come in," he said. We sat across from his large desk. Mark sat very close to me. Dr. Collins asked many questions. How long have you felt tired? Do you feel dizzy? Do you have headaches? Do you sleep well at night? I answered everything honestly. Mark listened carefully. Sometimes he answered for me. Then the doctor examined me. He listened to my heart. He checked my blood pressure. He looked into my eyes. He tapped my knees. The room was very quiet. My heart was beating fast. After some time, Dr. Collins sat back in his chair. He looked at a paper in front of him. Then he smiled. "Mrs. Anna," he said, "I have good news." I held my breath. "There is nothing wrong with you?" he continued. "You are perfectly healthy." I stared at him. "But I feel sick," I said. "I feel tired all the time." He nodded kindly. "Yes, I understand," he said, "but all your results are normal. Sometimes stress can make the body feel weak." He leaned forward slightly. "You work hard," he said. "You need rest. Maybe a short vacation." Relief washed over me. I smiled at Mark. He smiled back, but his smile was strange. It was quick, and it did not reach his eyes. I was too relieved to think about it. "Thank you, doctor," I said. "Thank you so much." As we stood up to leave, Mark shook the doctor's hand. "You've made us very happy," he said. At that moment, I believed everything was fine. I believed the doctor. I believed my husband. I did not know this relief was only the beginning of the lie. We walked out of Dr. Collins's office and into the waiting area. I felt light. I felt relieved. Mark stopped suddenly. "Anna, wait here for a moment," he said. "I forgot to ask the doctor something." "Oh, okay," I replied. I sat down on one of the chairs. The receptionist was at the front desk. Other patients were waiting quietly. The door to the doctor's office was not fully closed. I did not mean to look, but my eyes moved on their own. I saw Mark walk back inside. He did not speak. He did not sit down. He reached into his jacket pocket and took out a thick brown envelope. My heart skipped. He handed the envelope to Dr. Collins. The doctor did not open it. He did not ask questions. He simply took it and placed it inside his desk drawer. Quickly, carefully. Then Mark turned around and left the room. He closed the door behind him. A few seconds later, he was back beside me. "Okay, let's go," he said with a smile. I stood up slowly. My mind was racing. Why would my husband give the doctor an envelope? Why not pay at the front desk like everyone else? Why no card? Why no receipt? The happiness I felt moments ago disappeared. As we walked out of the clinic, a strange feeling grew inside me. Something was wrong. I did not understand it yet, but I knew one thing clearly. That envelope was not normal, and it was the moment my trust began to crack. The car ride home was quiet at first. I looked out the window, but I was not really seeing anything. My mind was still inside the doctor's office, inside that drawer, inside that envelope. Mark, however, sounded cheerful. "I feel so relieved," he said. "I was so worried about you. Now we know you're fine." I did not answer. He continued talking. "We should plan a vacation," he said. "The doctor said rest would help. Do you want the beach or the mountains?" I turned to look at him. "Mark," I said slowly, "why did you give the doctor that envelope?" His smile disappeared. "What envelope?" he asked. "I saw you," I said. "You went back into his office. You gave him a brown envelope." For a moment he was silent. Then he laughed softly. "Oh, that," he said. "That's nothing to worry about." "Nothing?" I asked. "It looked full of money." He sighed as if I was bothering him. "Dr. Collins has some financial problems," he said. "He's a friend of a colleague. I was just helping him. It was a loan." "A loan?" I repeated. "To a doctor with a private clinic?" "Anna," he said gently, "you're thinking too much." I felt my face grow warm. "Why in secret?" I asked. "Why not at the front desk?" He shook his head. "Please don't ask silly questions," he said. "Let's just be happy you're healthy. Don't ruin a good day." Silly questions. The words hurt more than I expected. I felt small, embarrassed. Mark had always been honest with me. I wanted to believe him, so I nodded. "I'm sorry," I said, but in my heart, nothing felt right. The next few weeks were strange. I tried to act normal. I told myself the doctor said I was healthy. Mark said I was fine, so I tried to believe it, but my body did not listen. Every morning was harder than the last. I woke up feeling empty. Even getting out of bed felt like work. At the office, I smiled at my coworkers. I answered emails. I spoke to customers. But inside, I felt weak. One afternoon, I was sitting at my desk, staring at the computer screen. Suddenly, the words became blurry. The room began to spin. I felt hot, then cold. For 1 second, everything went dark. My head fell forward and hit the desk. "Anna!" someone shouted. Hands touched my shoulders. Someone helped me sit up. It was my supervisor, Mrs. Hill. "Are you all right?" she asked, worried. "I think so," I said softly. "I just felt dizzy." She looked at me closely. "This has happened before, hasn't it?" she asked. I did not answer. She sighed. "Healthy people don't almost faint at work," she said. "You really should see another doctor." Another doctor. The word stayed with me all day. That night, I told Mark what happened. He looked concerned and hugged me. "You're working too hard," he said. "The doctor said you need rest." Again, rest. He never said, "See another doctor." He never doubted Dr. Collins. I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling. Who should I trust? My husband or my own body? For the first time, I wondered if believing Mark was putting my life in danger. One evening, Mark went to take a shower. I stayed in the living room, sitting quietly on the sofa. My body felt weak. My thoughts felt heavy. Mark's phone was on the table. Suddenly it buzzed. The sound was loud in the quiet room. I looked at the screen. I had never checked his phone before. I trusted him, but that night my hand moved on its own. I picked it up. A message was on the screen. It said, "The next payment is due next week. Please don't be late." My heart stopped. I looked at the name. The number was saved as Dr. Collins. Payment. Not loan, not help. Payment. My hands began to shake. I opened the call history. There were many calls, so many. This was not a one-time thing. This was planned. The bathroom door opened. Mark walked out, drying his hair. "Everything okay, Anna?" he asked. "You look pale." I quickly put the phone down. "Yes," I said. "I'm just tired." That night, I did not sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the dark ceiling. Why would my husband pay a doctor? Why would a doctor lie? Was Mark protecting me? Or was he hiding something terrible? For the first time, I was truly afraid. The next morning, I made a decision. I could not ignore the fear anymore. I remembered what Mrs. Hill had said. Another doctor. I did not tell Mark. I told my office I was taking a sick day. My hands were shaking as I left the house. I took a bus to the next town. The ride felt long and quiet. My thoughts were loud. What if this doctor also said I was healthy? What if I really was imagining everything? The clinic was very different from Dr. Collins' office. It was smaller, older, busy. People were sitting close together, children were crying, phones were ringing. It felt real. A nurse called my name. The doctor was a woman named Dr. Evans. She smiled gently and asked me to sit down. "Tell me everything," she said. So I did. I told her about the tiredness, the dizziness, the headaches, the envelope, the message on my husband's phone. She did not interrupt me. She listened carefully. She wrote notes. Sometimes she nodded. When I finished, she looked at me seriously. "You've been dealing with a lot," she said, "and what you're describing is not normal stress." My stomach tightened. She checked my blood pressure. She examined my eyes. She ordered blood tests and other tests I did not understand. "I don't want to scare you," she said, "but I am concerned." Concerned. No one had used that word before. "We need to check this carefully," she continued, "and we need to do it soon." As I left the clinic, my legs felt weak. For the first time, someone had taken me seriously, and for the first time, I felt that the truth was close. A few days later, the clinic called me. They asked me to come in as soon as possible. My stomach turned cold. I took the bus again. My hands were shaking the entire way. When I entered Dr. Evans's office, I knew something was wrong. She was not smiling. She asked me to sit down. Her voice was calm but serious. "Anna," she said, "we have your test results." My heart began to beat very fast. "You are not healthy," she continued. "There is a problem with your brain." The words felt unreal. "A problem?" I asked quietly. "Yes," she said. "That is why you feel tired. That is why you feel dizzy. That is why your body feels weak." Tears filled my eyes. "I'm not crazy?" I asked. "No," she replied firmly. "You are sick." She explained slowly, using simple words. "The illness is serious," she said, "but it is treatable. There are medicines that can help control it. Many people live normal lives with treatment." Then she paused. "But treatment should have started much earlier." My heart dropped. "It looks like you've had this illness for at least a year," she said. "Waiting made it worse." I thought of Dr. Collins. I told her everything: the first visit, the envelope, the message on my husband's phone. Her eyes widened. "He told you that you were healthy?" she asked. "And your husband paid him?" I nodded. "That is not just wrong," she said. "That is illegal." She leaned forward. "He put your life in danger," she said. "If this had gone on longer, the results could have been very serious." I felt sick. The man I trusted most had paid a doctor to lie to me. He watched me get weaker every day and told me I was fine. In that moment, I understood the truth. This was not a small lie. This was betrayal. I went home that evening. I did not cry on the bus. I did not cry on the street. I felt empty. When I opened the door, Mark was in the kitchen. "Hi, Anna," he said with a smile. "How was your day?" I walked past him without answering. I took the medical reports from my bag and placed them on the table in front of him. I still did not speak. Mark looked down at the papers. His smile disappeared. He picked them up and read the first page, then the second. His hands began to shake. His face turned white. "I know," I said quietly. "I know everything." He dropped the papers. He sat down heavily in the chair and covered his face with his hands. "Anna, I can explain," he whispered. "Explain what?" I asked. "Explain why you paid a doctor to lie to me? Explain why you watched me get sick every day? Explain why you made me think I was losing my mind?" He began to cry. "I was scared," he said again and again. "I was so scared." "Scared of what?" I asked. He looked up at me, his eyes red. "My mother," he said. "She had the same illness." My chest tightened. "I watched her suffer," he continued. "I watched her grow weaker. Hospitals became her whole life." His voice broke. "When you started showing the same signs, I panicked," he said. "I couldn't go through that again." I stared at him. "So you decided to lie to me?" I said. You decided I didn't deserve the truth? I thought if we didn't know, he cried, if we just acted like everything was fine, maybe it would go away. He shook his head. I found Dr. Collins, he said. He needed money. I paid him to tell us you were healthy. He looked at me desperately. I just wanted more time with you. I felt cold. He chose his fear over my life. And he called it love. I looked at Mark for a long time. This man was crying in front of me. His voice was shaking. His fear was real. But suddenly, everything became clear. You were not protecting me, I said calmly. You were protecting yourself. He shook his head. No, Anna, he said. I did it because I love you. I felt something break inside me. No, I replied. That is not love. He looked confused. Love does not lie, I continued. Love does not hide the truth. Love does not watch someone suffer and call it protection. My voice was steady. I was no longer angry. I was no longer shouting. I finally understood what he had done. He made me doubt my own body. He made me doubt my own mind. When I asked questions, he told me they were silly. That is why this hurt so much. He did not just lie to me. He made me feel small, weak, foolish. He turned a sick woman into a silly wife. You chose fear over honesty, I said. You chose comfort over my life. He tried to speak again, but I raised my hand. Stop, I said. I don't need excuses anymore. I took a deep breath. I deserve truth, I said. I deserve respect, and I deserve a chance to live. For the first time, I chose myself. I walked into our bedroom without another word. My hands were steady. I opened the closet and took out a small suitcase. I began to pack my clothes. Slowly, carefully. Mark followed me. Please, Anna, he said. Don't do this. We can fix everything. I did not look at him. The trust was gone. And without trust, nothing could be fixed. Every shirt I folded reminded me of a day I felt sick and was told I was fine. Every step I took reminded me of how small I had been made to feel. I can't stay, I said quietly. Every time I look at you, I will remember the lie. He began to cry again. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know, I replied, but sorry is not enough. When my bag was ready, I picked up my phone. I called Mrs. Hill, my supervisor. I told her everything. She was silent for a moment. Then she said, You can stay with me, as long as you need. Tears filled my eyes for the first time. I walked to the door with my suitcase. I did not turn back. That house was no longer my home. I stepped outside and took a deep breath. I chose my health. I chose truth. I chose myself. Later, I began my treatment. It was not easy, but I was no longer alone in my mind. I learned something important from this experience. Fear can make people do terrible things, but fear is never an excuse to lie. Real strength is not pretending everything is fine. Real strength is facing the truth, even when it is painful. Love does not silence questions. Love does not call suffering silly. Love stands beside you and faces fear together. Sometimes, the people who say they love us can hurt us the most, and sometimes, choosing yourself is the bravest decision of all. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue creating stories to help you learn English through storytelling. Thank you for listening.